everyone, it's AJ and today we are doing something slightly different in the arty side of the world, but just slightly different. So, if, like myself, you have went through the effort of designing your own skin by piercing some ink to make some nice designs, to then live with them forever, i.e. tattoos, you should probably know that for, I would say, safely the majority of people, once you get one, you just can't stop. Says the person with 4 tattoos and still counting. So, I feel like it's safe to say that once you stop, you just can't stop, and you just always have that little craving inside your head, like, ooh, unless you have like a really bad experience with your first one, but I didn't, and even though I had I wouldn't say a bad experience with my third one, it was the most painful, and it's kind of put me off certain kind of tattoos. It didn't really stop me from going and getting this one, which is a year old now. So, that's no stopping anytime soon. So you might be thinking, well, why are you talking about tattoos? You can't exactly go out and get tattoos at the moment, because tattoo parlours aren't open. Well, there's still something that can fill that craving, because I found a lovely solution many moons ago, and I'm going to use it today. And that is Inkbox. Now, Inkbox specialise in temporary tattoos, and they have their own kind of styles where like you can go and just order like their own kind of designs and whatnot, but they also have something called Freehand Ink, and oh my god, is that stuff a lifesaver. Like, if I have any tattoo ideas, that is a fantastic thing to get. Doesn't do colours, just in black, but hey ho, it gives you like that little kind of temporary feel of will I actually like it or not. And it came in super handy for when this one came around, because I used it for this, and the design changed about 3 times with this. So it comes in handy not to go straight into a tattoo and see if you can get one temporarily just to see if you like it. It is fantastic. Now, you may have noticed in my background there's just a nice little wee box here that just sits on my bookcase. That, my friend, is my Inkbox. And I should state for the record, what I'm doing I probably shouldn't be doing, because I have had that box for over a year and a half. I've had it since 2018. Like I said, this is still the same box I use to design this. So, I think they recommend you not using the ink after 6 months. So, this is going to be fun about how this even turns out. So I have my little design. I've got more geeky designs, because I'm very determined to get an Alice Madison Returns tattoo. I have tried multiple ways of like what I want, what I could get, but then nothing just seems to work out right. So Inkbox is coming to the rescue, because I just want more tattoos. And I think being like clogged up inside and just thinking, oh, what can I get? Tattoos are now in the head. Because it's now my birthday coming up soon in a few weeks, it's like, ooh, birthday tattoo, because mostly, for the most part, all of my tattoos I have gotten for my birthday or near about my birthday. The only one I didn't get for my birthday is my very first one, which is this wee tiny one. Woo! I got that as an exam present. So, slightly different. Well, actually, 2 are birthdays, one was graduation and one was an exam results thing. So, half educational, half just for the sake of I just wanted it for my birthday. So, I have here my little design, and then you're probably thinking, what is this? Now, the main weapon in the American McGee's Alice series is the Vorpal Blade, which obviously is an actual part of the Alice in Wonderland story. The Vorpal Blade is an actual thing. Like, it's part of like the Jabberwocky thing, what is part of the Alice universe. So, this is the design on said knife. And yes, you're probably thinking, why would I want that? Why not? I do not need to explain myself for that. Also, It's kind of subtle. It just looks. It's literally mostly flowers and leaves and vines. So the plan is, we're going to draw this onto that. Because I've got this one, that one's looking kind of empty. And I want to fill it up. This was the problem I knew I was going to have once I got this one. I knew that was going to happen. I was like, I'm going to have to want something on the other side to make it equal so that it just looks nice. So, haha. So, let's see how this turns out. Okay, so here's a little setup. So this is the little ink pot. This is like a 1 ounce. And here is my stencil of my design. So what I do is wipe down my arm so that it's wet. Because I've basically penciled on each side of the design. So with it being wet, the pencil should then transfer onto my arm. And then I just draw all over it. Well, I'll put the ink all over it. And it should hopefully give me most of my shape. So most of the pencil did come off decently on my arm. There's some little areas that didn't come out as well. You could maybe you can probably see the faint lines of like the design, and then that's it. So after giving the bottle a wee shake, we begin putting all the ink on. So this stuff kind of works like henna. That's basically the best way to describe what the freehand ink is. It's basically henna, and basically, I'm just trying to fill in all the wee lines, all the wee spaces, because how the design is, it's basically just the outline. It's not like any filled areas, so I'm also trying to remember that I need to fill in some of the gaps. And although this may look like it's actually going kind of slowly, I've actually sped this up like a million times. Like, this took about half an hour for me to do my whole arm. So the fact that this is all sped up to 4 minutes just shows you how long this takes. So even though it might look like I'm doing this very, very smoothly, I am taking my time like nobody's business, because the amount of times that I've done it and smudged, and it ruins it forever. It is such a big deal that you need to take your time and make sure you don't ruin like anything. It's so handy putting a stencil onto your arm, because then obviously doing traces like this makes it so much easier. See, if I had to try and do this freehandly, it would go horrendously. So, top tip, if you end up getting some freehand ink, put your design onto I used baking paper because it's like grease proof, so I used that and I'd sketched it on one side and then flipped it over, because obviously when you invert it, it makes it easier. Or just invert your picture to begin with, so then you only have to do one side and not do what I did, where you basically have to fill in both sides. But hey ho. So yeah, do that. It makes it so much easier. They actually have kits, so they actually give you the proper kind of paper, and like they have like a wee pen and everything like that that goes onto your skin. But if you only just buy the ink on its own, that's my wee top tip of like how to get designs onto your skin. And also, because it's pencil, it doesn't really damage your skin. And obviously, I feel like, see, with the pen, like you might still see the pen whilst you're waiting for it to dry off and whatnot, so that kind of puts me off, I'm not going to lie, personally, but it does work, so I have nothing against it. And obviously you saw that I've started the furthest away and worked down, because if I started basically at my elbow and worked up, I would have definitely smudged this, like, so badly. And you notice at the beginning I'd also moved over the actual printed design that I'd done my sketch over, or stencil over, sorry. And because of not all of the design went onto my skin properly, I'm having to reference back to make sure that I'm actually getting the design as close as I can. I will admit I didn't get every single detail, because mostly I think in trying to improvise other areas that didn't do it properly, I ended up taking up space that should have had something else. But for the most part, I actually got most of the design, which I'm actually very happy with. And it's actually really weird watching this like sped up and seeing how it's all coming together. It's actually kind of interesting myself, just actually watching myself do the work myself. Like, this is what I love about, like, see, like, my wrist tattoos and my arm tattoos. See, watching the tattooists work, I love that. So even just watching myself do the artwork is fascinating for me. I hope it's fascinating for you. But yeah, so this is basically me just doing the last little few wee details, and now after this is all done, you leave it for an hour and it all dries up, and then you start to peel away when it's all dry, and we'll get to that in a wee second. And that's me just tidying up, putting my lid on it, and woohoo! Sorted! So that's everything done, it's all peeled away. You may have noticed it didn't all go to plan. I even waited over an hour because I noticed some bits still looked kind of wet, but then when I thought they were all dry, it turned out they were still wet underneath. So I'm actually thinking some of this isn't going to work. That's probably why they recommend you not using it after 6 months, because it probably doesn't dry properly. Although the top part dried quite nicely. Like, I can, for the most part, I can see the design like here. I think it's the end part that's not going to turn out well. However, this does take about 24 hours to develop, and it lasts roughly like a week. It can last to 2 weeks on some skins, but for the most part it kind of lasts a week on mine. Well, that's how it's been in the past, but obviously with the very overexpired dated one I cannot tell obviously what's going to happen, but hopefully it's going to be okay. But for the most part, it seems to have somewhat worked. Like, I'm going to get something. So, we're going to cut to me in the morning, where I'll need to hope that A, it's no spread. Because I'll need to make sure that I put on something that covers my arm. Because if you don't, it can spread. And that I learned that very early on with doing the arm ones. Because even though because you wash it as well, like, you didn't see that part, but like you wash it off with like soapy water and whatnot to try and get as much stuff off. So, but it can still transfer because it's still trying to sink in, and it's not fun as well, especially when you put so much effort into it, and then it's like, and here's a smudge because you laid on it in bed. Yay! So I'll need to try and remember tonight not to have my arms open, because I basically sleep on this arm, like I sleep on this side, so that is the worst culprit for when I do artwork on that, like Inkbox on it. So fingers crossed it goes well. So let's see. It's now the next day. It is the next morning. We have had a good amount of hours for it to develop, and I am ready for the reveal. Are you ready? Da 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 da. Oops. Yeah. So it actually all came through, which I'm actually surprised, because I thought the bottom part wasn't going to come out. So the fact that, to a certain degree, it's all came out. Yeah, that's a bonus. And also, it looks really snazzy. I'm absolutely loving it. Oh, it's not as dark as it should be, or it has been in the past. So I think obviously that's just due to age. So don't take this as a grain of salt of like, this is how it turns out. So for the most part, it should be darker, because as you see, the real tattoo is a lot darker. So, but yeah, look, I can just rub it, nothing goes away. So this is me for the next week at least, and I'll be going back to work, and if anyone sees my arms, they'll be like, what's that on your arm? So, but nice. You can actually see, like, I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but where it was still wet, like when I took off the layers, like it's not as dark, like it's already very kind of faded. So, but overall, I'm still happy it kind of worked. I need to buy a new box, like. And also, I can't believe, like, my ink pot still did all of this. Because, think, I've done this design, like, a million times on my arm. Like, I've used it for a million things. And yet the 1 ounce is still going. Like, I still have stuff in it. I could probably do, like, wee tiny designs. Because, see, towards the end, see squeezing it to get stuff out. Oh my god, that was sore. But, but, aye. It's well, you get your money's worth. Let's just say that. You definitely get your money's worth. And though you shouldn't really do this, it still shows you that after a year and a half, the stuff can still work. So, that's a success. So, you'll probably see them for the next few videos. So, the next few episodes on AJ does something. Oh well. Until next time, I'm AJ. I did something today and yesterday. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.